Hello, little Timmies. And today I'm going to be talking about how the NBA All-Star Game needs to make a change. And when I say that, I say it in the case of Andrew Wiggins and how he is an All-Star starter. And this isn't any hate towards Andrew Wiggins, but I think a lot of people can agree he doesn't deserve to be an all-star starter. You could say he could be an all-star, but all-star starter, I think that is a bit much. But I think the reason that he is an all-star starter is just how poor the NBA front court is for the West right now, with injuries and stuff like that. But I do think that the NBA should make the All-Star game positionless. So, for example, Andrew Wiggins is considered a forward, but Luka Doncic is considered a guard. So, the guards this year that are starting are Stephen Curry and Ja Morant. So, I do have Luka behind both of those guys, but if I had to pick him for a starter over Andrew Wiggins, I would pick Luka any day. So, but the reason that you can't is because he's a guard. So if they made it positionless, you could have Luka Doncic being that other player. So I do think that the NBA does need to change that to make it positionless, and especially with the NBA how it is right now, where a lot of players can play a lot of positions. Like LeBron James can play 1 through 5, and Luka, he can play the forward. He's forward guard, but in the case of Devin Booker as well, he is a guard, and the Phoenix Suns are the number 1 seed, and a lot of people have been talking about how there's no Suns players who are all-star starters, and they're the best team in the league by far, 40-9 record. Only team with single-digit losses, by the way. But I do think if they had it positionless, then it would be between Luka and Devin Booker, because Devin Booker is averaging 25 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists, and Luka is averaging 25.5 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists, which Luka has the better stats, and then Devin Booker has the better record overall. But it sucks that because it's not positionless, Andrew Wiggins is an all-star starter. It's perfectly fine, but it would just be nice if they changed it so that it could be positionless. And also, I wanted to talk about the whole thing with East and West and how, you could pick your players and there's an all-star draft, all that. The reason that they changed it to being able to draft players was because the East was not as good as the West, because all the better players were on the West Coast. So then it was super uneven and the All-Star game wasn't as entertaining. So they changed it to where you could pick players, and then that just made it more even. But now it's gone to the point where the East and the West are about the same. The East might even be better. But in the East you have Kevin Durant, Giannis, DeMar DeRozan, Trae Young. You have all 4 of those guys who are superstars and are on the same team. And Joel Embiid. They would all be the starting lineup if it was the East. And then in the West, same thing with Steph Curry, Ja Morant, Nikola Jokic, LeBron James, and then Luka Doncic if they had positionless, but in this case, Andrew Wiggins. I think it would be cool if they went back to East and West, because then with the All-Star draft, it's just you have the team captains, and then you have to pick all your players, and then it's just not the same. And then with the picking the starters, you pick from the East and the West, and that's kind of dumb, because it's if you're picking from the East and the West, and then they're just going to get drafted, what's even the point? So I do think if they aren't going to change it back to East and West, I think they should at least change how you select the All-Star starters, and change it to something like where you can just pick from any team. So like you could pick 5 guys from any team in the NBA and then another 5 guys from any team in the NBA. So it didn't have to be 5 guys in the East, 5 guys in the West. Especially when there's guys in the East. If there's more guys in the East that deserve it more than guys in the West, then you can just pick an East player on your team. Because it doesn't matter because the game is played with, like, it's all mixed because of the draft. So if they do keep it how it is now, I do think they should do that. Because then, especially this year, the forwards in the East weren't as good. And same thing with the West. The East had a lot of good guards, and same with the West. So it would be nice if they did positionless, and then you could like pick with any conference, so then you could get more of the players that you actually want. And it's not where you're picking your all-stars, and it's like, well, I don't want this guy, but I don't have any other option because he's a forward, not a guard. So if they are going to do that, I do think that they would have to change that. And I also want to talk about the all-star jerseys. The jerseys that they wear. With that, I do think it's cooler where, like, every single guy has his own team's jersey, like how it used to be, where it was like, if you had Kobe out there, he'd be wearing his Lakers jersey, and then if you had Michael Jordan out there, he'd be wearing his Bulls jersey. I think that looks really cool. You could say it gets confusing because like, oh, well, who's on my team? But there's only 5 guys out there on the court. And I think you would know, so I don't think that's that much of a problem. But I do think it would be cool if they went back to, like, everyone's own jerseys. And especially when it's like that, you get to represent your team. And especially for guys who are, like, first-time All-Stars, like Ja Morant, who did it with the Grizzlies, and you're like, I want to represent my team. So then he could be wearing his Grizzlies jersey out there. So I think that'd be really cool if they went back to having their own jerseys in the All-Star game. I just think that would look cooler. So, yeah. That's all I really wanted to talk about. This was a shorter one, just because I just wanted to talk about the All-Star game. And sorry if the audio wasn't as normal, because I'm at my grandma's house, and my whole setup is different, and the sound might not be as good. But, yeah. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you all next time. Bye-bye, little Timmy.